Welcome back to another video. My name is Alizaya and I'm here for Black Transsexual. Get up into the big part, whatever. I'm back. Hi, loves. How y'all doing? Girl, you already know we're pushing out this content for y'all. Guess what? It's the holidays. Let me stop being dramatic, girl. You seen the title, girl. We finna get messy on here. Before we get to today's video, girl, I know you guys seen the title. I know you guys might be like, girl, what are we finna get into today, girl? I need you guys to like, comment, and subscribe because you will never find another Black transsexual like me. Hello, hello, hello. I'm beautiful. You're beautiful. Get up into the big part, whatever. Go ahead and lock in on myself. So we're going to get into the problem with the trans community because, girl, I really am so sick and tired of people side-eyeing us and grouping us all together, girl. There's part of the trans communities, you know, that I don't want to be a part of, and there's other parts where I'm just like, hey, queens, hey, sisters, yes, get up into the big part, so let's get messy. First thing that I want to start off with is getting misgendered. I really don't understand when a trans person gets misgendered, they start acting a fool and they start acting like, you know, it's the end of the world, and they act like, you know, it's a, you know, to their heart or whatever. It's not that serious. I will always say this, it's not that serious to get misgendered. A lot of people might be like, you know, oh my God, you don't understand because you pass or you do this, you do that. Why? First off, why are you living the past? Transitioning should not be, you know, living to pass. I don't understand what the whole purpose of, you know, trying to pass. And then we got clips like this of people overreacting over pronouns.
You are harassing me. Are you not listening? I'm a woman being followed by a man who's not a trans. You are fired.
I thought you were a dude. Oh, my bad.
It says it right on my seat.
I didn't know that. Sorry, sir. Ma'am, I mean. Ma'am.
Get the out of here. Get the out of here.
This is so hard and so exhausting. Like, I have been misgendered all day. Every single interaction, conversation, everything is misgendered from the beginning of the day to now. I'm sick of correcting people who won't listen. I'm sick of people not seeing me. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it.
I have a serious question, okay? What about this outfit and this person screams woman? How do I keep getting misgendered?
I usually love my job, but lately, the one driver that doesn't listen just constantly misgenders me. I usually love my job. I love working with these kids. I love doing it. There's only 20 more days left in the school year. I'm tired of getting misgendered and ignored all the time by her. She doesn't listen. I correct her all the time and she just doesn't listen.
A 4-year-old in my class today was naming all the girls in class, and then she said my name. And I just tell her, I'm not a girl, don't include me.
My pronouns aren't preferred, they are mandatory. Do not purposefully misgender trans people. You do not get to decide how someone identifies. My pronouns aren't preferred, they are mandatory.
Thank you. I'm not, sir. Not, sir. Not, sir. But the guy who dropped the food off, he called me sir twice in a row.
Okay, I'll let him know that, and
thank you, I appreciate that.
You're rude. Absolutely not. Don't ever call me transphobic. Ever. You do not know me.
The Starbucks worker is wilding. We got a Starbucks worker that's trans, I guess got misgendered and was called sir or he, but looking at the voice, the body type, people can put two and two together, and the person's really upset.
Now get out. You're not having one. Hi, get out. You are trespassing now. They've got cameras. You are trespassing. Get out. Get out. You are trespassing.
apparently we said something transphobic.
We have people constantly setting us back thousands of years, all because somebody gets their pronouns wrong. And then I don't understand, like, why are you so, you know, defensive when it comes to pronouns? Like, I want a lot of people to understand that it's not the end of the world. Somebody actually might genuinely be confused or genuinely just got it wrong on accident. It's not the end of the world. You shouldn't be sitting over here screaming and shouting and talking about, I'm going to sit over here and report you to corporate. It's not that serious. A lot of people don't understand the difference between an accident and somebody truthfully doing it on purpose. Like, girl, it's a big difference. You can tell when, you know, somebody's on purposely trying to do it and when somebody's accidentally trying to do it. You get what I mean? Like, I don't understand this whole discourse of, you know, pronouns and all this other stuff, because respect is earned. Respect isn't given. The way that I look at it, a lot of people might not agree with me. I don't care if you agree with me. I'm not here for you to agree with me, girl. I'm just speaking my truth. I don't understand this whole whole, discourse of desiring people to respect you. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't understand. It's so ghetto to me. Like, girl, you need to buckle up and you need to get some tough skin. How are you transgender and you don't have tough skin? You already did the wrong path in your transition. You're already on the wrong, journey on your transition. How can you be trans and you're not strong? I just don't understand that. Girl, you need to get a grip and you need to get some muscles. You need to be strong. Like, girl, I don't understand you. Like, some of y'all are very much giving sissy. Like, girl, jail time. And I'm trying to preach this a lot. A lot of people need to have self-love, because in your trans journey, you guys have to understand that not everybody's obligated to respect your pronouns. We live in a world and we live in a society where hatred and homophobia and transphobia is always getting spilled out. And when you come out the closet, you can't just expect everybody to get on board with your pronouns and get on board with your trans journey, because not everybody rocks like that. Not everybody's going to think the same, and not everybody's going to think like you. You get what I mean? The way that I look at my life and the way that I look at my life decisions, if somebody was to call me a man flat out right now, oh well, it's not the end of the world. I'll be the baddest man to you. I'll be Isaiah to you. If you see me as Isaiah, I guess I'm Isaiah. If you see me as Alizé, I guess I'm Alizé. Whatever you see me as is what you see me as. I'm not non-binary. I'm not none of that stuff. I'm just me. And I'm very strong, I'm black, and I'm independent. You have to be a very independent person. You have to have some very tough skin, because the world is not changing. The world is not evolving. If anything, we're going back in time, because we're getting so many laws, so many bills, so much ghetto-ness is getting passed, so much homophobia is getting, spread throughout this world, and transphobia is getting spread throughout this world. And it's just hatred upon hatred. And if you don't have no tough skin, you're going to fall into a deep, dark path, and you're going to become very depressed, and you're not even going to be happy in your own trans journey, because you don't even love yourself enough to not care what people think about you. You need to have some damn tough skin. Has your parents not taught you to love yourself? And if they haven't, I'm the person to tell you to wake up and love yourself. Give yourself a hug and be like, you know what? I guess I'm the baddest man to these people. You know who you are. Stop trying to prove a point to everybody else. You don't need other people's validation. Get a grip. The next thing that I want to sit over here and talk about is someone having a preference isn't transphobic. What I'm basically trying to say is somebody's not attracted to you, it's not the end of the world. Oh my God. We had this whole debate like back in 2020 of people sitting over here arguing if it's transphobic to not date a trans person or not to be attracted to a trans person, this and that. Like, I don't understand why a lot of people are so geeked over that.
I believe that refusing to date transgender folks because they are transgender is a form of transphobia. However, I think there are different levels of transphobia. On a scale of 1 to 10, messing up someone's pronoun would be lower on the scale, while offenses closer to 10 would be deliberately using the wrong pronoun, or being Caitlyn Jenner. Personally, would put refusal to date trans folks on the lower end of the transphobia scale. I just don't understand why folks can say that they accept trans women as women and then refuse to date them even though they're attracted to women.
If you say you want to date a trans woman, you are transphobic. Trans women are women. The only argument that I can understand is if they have a certain genitalia that you are not sexually attracted to. But if your only reason for not dating trans women is because they're trans or they were born a different gender at birth, you are in fact transphobic.
Personally, I think that if someone already found you attractive, but then all of a sudden lost all interest in you because they found out that you're trans, I think that is transphobic. And of course, all of the cis people are always going to come to the defense and say that, well, that's their preference. That's not transphobic. Haven't we learned anything? If you're not trans, please don't tell trans people what is and what is not transphobic. Second of all, I think it's completely okay to know that, yes, that's your personal preference, but also acknowledge the fact that your preference is transphobic.
Tinder is full of transphobes. Like, I just have to believe that, because if that's not true, then it just means that I'm not nearly as pretty as I thought I was, and I physically could not handle that. I refuse to believe that I am the problem because my mental health simply could not take it. So we're gonna say that they're being transphobic. That's what we're going with.
Like, if somebody is not into you, let it be. It's not the end of the world. Why are you trying to beg somebody to sit over here and see you as a woman? You're begging somebody to sit over here and see you as a human being. If those people don't see you as humans, if those people are not attracted to you, it's not the end of the world. And somebody's saying that, that they're not interested in you and, they're cool with you being trans. They just don't like that. It's okay. Like, me as a trans person, I would never, I know this might be a little controversial to say, but I just personally have a preference where I like, I like guys. I like wizard ones. I don't want a doll with a princess one. I don't want, I don't like femininity in my, guy. Unless you're a feminine, masculine man, let's get into that. We love that. But anything else you put on a wig, oh girl, you get to the curb, girl. People are entitled to what they like, and if they're not attracted to you, it's not the end of the world. There's 8 billion people in this world, so why chase one person? Are you crazy? And then on top of that, some people just have religious values and they have boundaries. Why are you trying to overstep those boundaries to try to prove a point? I don't understand this. We got clips of this type of stuff, you arguing about, is it transphobic or not?
is not dating trans women transphobic? Yeah, it definitely can be. It depends on your reasoning, though. Like, I've heard someone say it was, like, really important to them to have biological children between them and their significant other. It's like, who can really get mad at that? But when someone says they're just not attracted to trans women, I feel like they're not saying what they're actually trying to say, because I feel like that's impossible to be true. Because whether you want to admit it or not, there are trans women on this earth who are significantly more attractive than the vast majority of cis women. Like, whether you want to date them or not, whether you like them or not, it's just how it is. They're here on this earth amongst us, okay? Some of y'all be trying to play like Where's Waldo with it, but no one told you what Waldo looks like, so you just point the finger at random cis women. Like, y'all can't tell. That's what my point is. What I'm saying is nobody's transdar is accurate enough for you to prevent the situation where you find a trans woman attractive thinking that she was a cis woman. Now, granted, if you find out she's trans and you don't want to deal with her, in theory that's okay, but what's your reason? If you're like, ooh, gross, you're a man, oh, that's obviously transphobic and obviously very offensive. However, if you're like, yo, you know, the downstairs equipment, I'm not comfortable with that in the bedroom. You know what I mean? So I must yield. Like, I think that's very respectful and not transphobic. And those two good examples I gave you were things you could say to somebody whether they're trans or not. Like, there could be a cis woman who comes to you who happens to be infertile. You're like, ah, man, I want to have biological kids. You know, that's why it's not transphobic. Or, hey, I'm not trying to mess with what's in your pants. You can say that to anybody. But if your reasoning for not wanting to date a trans person is simply because they are trans, that is by definition transphobia. The problem here is putting these kinds of people under the same umbrella. Like, it's one thing to say, hey, you know, I don't typically date this kind of person, but for you to say, oh, like, I refuse to date any of this kind of person ever, obviously that's going to sound problematic whether you mean it like that or not. And I feel like you all know that. So with the whole bi thing, like, there's literally no reasoning that they have for not wanting to date bi men as opposed to straight men outside of the man being bi. So clearly there's some sort of aversion to bi men. I don't know why people can't put two and two together. Someone was in comments like, oh, like, I don't want to date an addict, so does that mean I have a problem with addicts? Like, yes, like, clearly you see something in addicts that you don't like. Someone else was like, oh, if I don't want to move into a rat-infested house, does that mean I have a problem with rats? Yes. And what's crazy is they're all clutching onto this, oh, you know, it's just a preferences, blah, blah, blah. They're clutching onto that. But wait until you see a man say that he doesn't date dark-skinned women. What are they going to say? Is that a preference? Because I've never seen that narrative spread when someone says that. And the crazy thing about this whole debacle is nobody's begging anybody to date anybody. People are just saying people are homophobic. Like, it's like the comprehension skills of like half of this app are so low. Nobody is campaigning for you to date anybody, okay? Bi people do not care about whether or not you date them. Trans people do not care about whether or not you date them. They have more pressing matters to worry about, like being unalived, harassed at alarming rates. But of course, if you get on the internet and say something homophobic, biphobic, or transphobic, people are going to call you out. Like, what are you confused about? Like,
if anything, if they see you as a man, girl, you should already kick them to the curb. You're a human being, and you're a human being with feelings. That's the problem with some of you trans women. Not all, but that's the problem with some of you trans women. Some of you people don't really have self-love. If you really love yourself, you can look yourself in the mirror, even on your worst days, even on your clocky days, even on the days where you're depressed. You could always sit over and say, you know what, I'm still the baddest, girl. Wake up, clock that tea, girl. You don't need to beg for anybody's acceptance. What's the problem? That's the problem with this whole community, is begging for acceptance. You don't need to be accepted by anybody because you already accept yourself. Do I have to scream and shout for the ones who are in the back who ain't listening, girl? Love yourself. Clock it. I always say this. You have to be the one to represent yourself, and you have to be the one to educate people. If you educate somebody, 9 times out of 10, you can maybe change their mind. We have horrible representation in this community. This is why I say you have to stand up and you have to show up and show out for yourself and educate people while you're walking your path and while you're walking your trans journey. And I say this is not the end of the world, because there's 8 billion people in this world. There's somebody out here in this world for you. You just have to be the one to go out there and try to find that person. Number 1, why are you chasing a man? Number 2, why are you begging people to sit over here and love you and seeking love and all this other stuff? And number 3, if you want a dating app, girl, you're never going to find love. This is the problem with the trans community now. You're trying to find love on dating apps. Girl, you need real life interactions, girl. You're not going to find no real love on a dating app unless you live in a big city. Then other than that, girl, must be nice. I don't know about me. But you're going to turn our allies against us all because you're saying that it's transphobic for them not to date us. And now they're side-eyeing us and saying that, you know, we're Delulu, we're this, we're that. I say this a lot. Y'all are really hating on bisexual men and like queer men. Like, girl, they really know how to do what they do. Like, they know what they're doing, girl. And all I would say is I love me a man who's very secure enough in his sexuality and very secure enough in himself, and he's very passionate about himself. I love a real masculine man. I'm not talking about the appearance wise. I'm talking about masculinity and his personality. That's what I love about a man. That's what I desire in a man. I don't desire a man who has a fragile masculinity. I don't like that stuff. I don't like, you know, DLs. I'm over it, girl. I mess with a trade every now and again, but some of y'all need some self-love, girl. Get up into it. Next caller. The next thing that I want to sit over here and say, and this one might be controversial, but you only live once, so boom shakalaka. The next thing that I had to say is the trans women and women's sports debate has to stop. Guys, we have to be realistic, and I know this one is really going to make me lose some subscribers, but I don't care. Like, I don't know. I just don't really care about people, you know, accepting me and agreeing with me. I don't care no more, girl. I still get paid regardless. I want people to be realistic. All I'm going to say is when you tower some of these women and when you're going against some of these cis women and some of these biological women, I'm using both terms because I'm trying to be, you know, pass it to both communities. I'm saying this proud, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. How are you 6 feet tall and you just beating these women? Like, we have clips like these.
History has been made.
This transgender weightlifter competed in the Olympics. Transgender women, people born male but who identify as female, are winning many competitions, dominating the state's girls' track meets. Some women are upset about that.
Why do I have to compete against a male body?
Leah Schneeberger is a mountain bike racer. She won this race 3 years in a row, but then a former men's cyclist transitioned and competed as a woman. Now that person wins.
How did this happen? I just want to be able to compete on a fair playing field.
How is it fair for trans women to compete with women?
Well, trans women lose muscle, lose strength, lose endurance with hormone therapy.
After Cece Telfer won this race, she said,
"As a trans athlete, I'm not a threat to women's sports because I am a woman."
But Telfer ranked 390th best competing as a man.
I have to admit, I am somewhat at a loss to explain it. However, there are hundreds of NCAA championships awarded every year. Trans women are hugely underrepresented.
But what about combat sports?
Fox, that's it.
Trans woman Fallon Fox won most of her fights. She broke this woman's orbital bone. Later, she said, "I've never felt the strength as I did that night." Doesn't seem fair.
Fallon last fought in 2014. Can you come up with anything more recent? The idea that trans women are hugely going to outperform cis women does not hold up to the statistics.
But the statistics do say.
A male could be 40% stronger than a female on his legs.
Biologist Emma Hilton.
Things like shoulder width. Those things don't change when transgender women suppress testosterone. They don't get shorter.
But all of this changes when males gain a large biological advantage in terms of athletic abilities during puberty. Males experience a massive increase in a hormone called testosterone.
During male puberty, testosterone drives the development of bigger muscles with more fast-twitching fibers.
During puberty, males have a 20-fold increase in testosterone levels. This is on average 15 times higher than testosterone levels in females. Now, testosterone creates many changes in the male adolescent body. Common changes you might associate with puberty are like your voice deepening, growing body hair, growing in height, and testosterone also behind the scenes with many athletic advantages throughout the entire body. Things regulated include bone mass, fat distribution, muscle masses, and red blood cell concentrations, which carry oxygen throughout the body. Attributes like larger skeletal structures, larger muscles, increased cardiovascular and respiratory functions, as well as higher power to weight ratios gives cisgender males more natural athletic abilities. And these differences in cisgender women and cisgender men create differences in both non-elite calibers as well as elite sporting competitions. There are natural differences between each sex. This table shows the magnitude of physiological differences between untrained or moderately trained males, with females as the reference value. So on average, males have 45% more lean body mass, 33% more lower muscle mass, and 40% more upper body muscle mass. Men naturally have more muscle strength, longer bone lengths, like in your arms and legs, 83% more force in their tendons, and as we briefly mentioned earlier, increased respiratory and lung functions as well as enhanced cardiac functions. So whether you're an Olympic track star or you're someone who's learning basketball for the first time, once puberty comes, males generally innately have a natural biological advantage.
I don't think you should be competing because I feel like some of these people have advantages, and it's true. Like, it's true, and I hate to see people act like it's not true. It's true. And I'm not just saying in swimming and this and basketball, this and that. And a lot of people might be like, well, you want us to be segregated. If I was to be, a transgender woman and I had to, play basketball with the guys, I guess I'm going to be playing basketball with the guys. And if anything, some of the guys are cool. Because when you're, playing against women, girl, it gets very competitive. And it gets very nasty and very real. And I know hands-on because before, I started outing myself, and I was outed back in high school of being trans. I was trying to do sports and all the other stuff, and they let me go on the girls' team. But then, everybody was like, oh, my God. So then they put me with the guys, and then, girl, all hell just broke loose. So it's just like, I really look at it like this. I look at it like I really don't see the whole division and the whole, this and that. Because I look at it like this. You can dominate and be the baddest trans woman on the man's team and show these men how to dominate, show these men how to step, show these men and show everybody and show the world how to be you. And I also wanted to add on to this. I don't understand how a lot of people sit over here and say, well, these trans women are biological men and competing with women. But under the same breath, this is what gags me too. Under the same breath, they won't say the same thing for a trans man. They're like, oh, well, that's a girl, we can let them, play with the, guys, It's like, girl, y'all are just so hypocritical when it comes to that type of stuff. Like, a lot of times when it comes to trans related content, it's always about trans women. I never see the same discourse and the same argument when it comes to trans men. And I don't understand that, because it's just, in my eyes, hypocritical. And in my eyes, I'm just like, well, darn, this is how y'all see us. This is how you see the world. This is how you see trans men. You just think that they're less than, Like, I don't understand this. I really wish, in my personal opinion, we just had our own sports and we just had our own rinks and we had just our own lane and stuff. But that's not going to happen. We live in America. We live in a world where, being trans is just so ghetto in their eyes. It's just so crazy and out of this world. Girl, I'm so sick of explaining to people. Girl, I'm sick of this. And I also feel like it's discrimination to a certain extent when it comes to certain things about the trans community and especially trans women, you know, that are competing in women's sports and stuff like that. I don't understand like some of it because like some trans women in high school, you know, they don't have the advantage of other, you know, biological women if they were on hormones for a long period of time and all that other stuff. I can understand if they're not taking hormones and they don't even look like they're putting in effort to their transition. Okay, then we can have this discourse about it. But like sometimes I'm just very half and half with it. But like lately I'm just like, okay, you know what? You know, this is giving Blair White because girl, what's going on? I really wish there was more representation for trans people. I wish we got a good rep in the media. I really wish we had our own sports, our own this, our own that, our own bathrooms, our own this, our own that. Like, I really wish we did, so it wouldn't be such a debate about this stuff. Because a lot of people act like trans is such a new thing. Trans isn't a new thing. Trans has been happening since the decades, since the centuries, girl, since bada bing bada boom town, girl, bada bing bada boom. I just feel like I really wish that it wasn't such a division and it wasn't such a divide and we weren't getting so segregated when it comes to these things. But it's never going to change because we got people, if they were to accept us, you get what I mean? They were allow us to, you know, get into these girl sports and let us do this type of stuff. It would be people like Josh Sider and those type of, you know, quote unquote trans people who aren't even trans and only doing this as a fetish, doing this as cosplay, doing this as a mockery, and to make a fool out of trans people. Then they look at us and they side-eye us and think that, oh, this is how all the trans people is? No, let's ban them. This is why I'm half and half on letting trans people, you know, into women's sports and not letting trans women into women's sports. Me personally, I don't care because I would never step foot in women's sports. I would never even look into think to, you know, pick up a basketball, to go swim, to go play football, to do this, do that. Girl, now I'm a queen boots down. I lay in my bed and eat, you know, buckets of ice cream. I don't know about y'all, but, you know, I'm going to do what I want to do. With your broke ass. The next thing that I have to say is that we have horrible representation in the trans community. I said this a lot and I say this loud and proud that we don't get represented right and we don't have no real influencers who are shedding us and putting us in the right light that we need to be put in. I feel like a lot of us, you know, a lot of us don't even know who we truly are. Not all of us, because, you know, yeah, you know. Basically, what I'm trying to say, I feel like we got all these trans women who get on the internet and they do these irrational things, and it's like they're mocking women when they're doing their transition videos and they're doing all this stuff. I feel like a lot of these trans women are rage baiters, and I feel like a lot of them are doing all this, you know, rage baiting content to stay relevant and to get monetary gain. Me as a black trans woman, I get sick and tired of getting compared to these type of trans women. I would rather get compared to a trans woman like Viandre or a trans woman like Zaya or like a trans woman of my skin tone or of my background, ethnicity group, or whatever you want to call it. All these big people words, you know exactly what I'm saying. But I really wish those type of trans women were actually pushing the media. And not even that. I just wish that there was people who are like me who actually have wisdom and words. I'm not saying that, you know, all these type of trans women are bad, because you can't just sit over here and think that all these trans women are bad. No, not all trans women are like that. And just like, you know, not every black man wants to steal and be a thief and do like blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, you can't just sit over here and put people in boxes is basically what I'm trying to say. But basically what I'm trying to say is I'm sick of seeing these people who barely transition, who barely even put effort in, and trying to push beauty standards and trying to change what being trans is.
I think if every trans woman just went into a woman's bathroom, peed standing up, looked at a TERF while walking out, and said, cry about it, we'd live in a better world.
But half of you are not sure what gender is, especially transgender. I know the lawyer said transsexual earlier, that's not the correct term. It's transgender. I'm a transgender woman, my pronouns are she, her, and I will only accept those pronouns. I will not be addressed any other way. And in the workspace, I'm protected by that.
I am a beautiful black woman that also sometimes identifies as a cat or a dog.
Guess who had another gender adventure? I did. Let's go. Ow, ow,
I just normalize it, and I wear clothes like this, and we all just normalize women having bulges sometimes, because we're coming up on bikini season, baby, and you might see a bulge or two. So normalize the bulge.
I am a transgendered woman. My period I experience every month is very real, very valid.
I just personally feel, that's how I personally feel. Like, to this day, my boyfriend, we know I'm transgender, and we've been dating for 2 years. And I don't think I'm ever going to tell him. I don't even know how I will tell him. But I just personally feel like you should not tell a guy until you're ready to tell a guy. No.
Come on now, dog.
Come on, man.
You can't change what being trans is, and I don't understand why a lot of these trans influencers want to hide the fact that they're transgender. Like, when I grew up, I used to love, like, Maria Doll, or however you say her name. You know, I used to love her. I used to love all these other trans women. You know, I just used to love all these beautiful black trans women, and not even these black trans women, just these beautiful, beautiful dolls. But now you don't even hear about them. Now they just don't even talk about them being trans. And it hurts because I used to look up to these type of trans women. They used to be my representation because I never had any real black representation. And I really never had anybody to tell me that being a black, beautiful trans woman is beautiful. You're very beautiful. And I feel like that's why I want to be the one to do it, because there's nobody out here in this world who's our next Marsha P. Johnson. And I can't stand the fact, if you would ever fix your mouth to say that Dyan Malany is the next Marsha P. Johnson in this community, you are foolish. Girl, calm down. But you're foolish to even say that. You're foolish. What has Dyan Malany and what has all these other trans women who are influencers, who have millions of followers? Girl, my bad, girl. I gotta go get some groceries. But what have any of these trans influencers who have millions of followers done for the community?
So everyone is finally cancelling Dyan Malany. Fucking finally. I've been trying to tell you guys about this person for the longest time, but whenever I say it, I get labeled as a certain word that I can't say on this app. Everyone is calling Dyan Malany a massive hypocrite now that I know. People are finding it very suspicious that this woman right here has grown her entire account based off of promoting women's rights, saying the significance of women, how important women are for her, and of course, recognizing the struggles that women have to go through on a day-to-day basis. She's actually won, I swear, Woman of the Year for this. However, when it comes to speaking about the women in power who are having to use tent scraps because their periods are coming, or the women who are aggressively and systematically getting raped, she's quiet. She's silent. It's crickets even. People aren't recognizing that it's women that got this woman to this place to begin with. But however, when it comes to addressing issues that affect women within the diaspora, she's conveniently quiet. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I've never seen Dyan Malany or any of these trans influencers who have millions of followers, millions of dollars, all this other stuff has influence, ever speak on real trans issues. And when I'm talking about real trans issues, I'm talking about hate crime. I'm talking about real discrimination. I'm not talking about no pity pepper, all this stuttering stuff. I'm talking about real life issues that we, normal trans people, aka trans people who are working 9-to-5 jobs, aka trans people who are in high school, aka trans people who are dealing with discrimination at home, speaking about real issues. It's always the cookie cutter stuff. And I can't stand it. I can't stand it. And it makes me so sad. And it makes me mad. And now I'm starting to tear because it's serious, because it's trans people who are lost in this world who are looking up to these people, and when they ask, hey, how do you feel about this, it's crickets, because they're afraid to speak about it. And why don't these people speak about it? I don't know. And it makes me so mad because y'all give the wrong people platforms, and it hurts my feelings because there's trans people who put in efforts to try to speak on real life issues and speak on real life situations, and it's crickets. Y'all don't show them no promotion. Y'all give them nothing. I don't understand why a lot of people want to hide being trans. I think being trans is the most beautiful thing. Y'all, I want y'all to understand me and listen to me flat out. I want y'all to really hear me out. Today at work, I went to work. I flat out just was being myself. I was just flat out being myself. There was this girl, she's very transphobic, and she doesn't like trans people. You get what I mean? But me being who I am, she came around, she was like, you know what? I usually don't agree with trans people, and I don't agree with their lifestyle and them, you know, wanting to be girls and stuff like that. But you really changed my mind. Because I flat out just be myself. I love being trans. There's people who have clocked my teeth. There's people who don't understand me as a human being. It's not for them to understand. These people don't need to understand you as a trans person. You're supposed to continuously walk your path and show up and show out for yourself. That's what being trans is, to be yourself. You have gender dysphoria. Do what makes you happy. Go do your surgeries. Go do what you want. But show up and show out constantly so you can represent and educate people around you. This representation of trans people, a lot of people think that we're screaming, that we're shouting, that we're doing this and doing that. I'm not those type of trans women. I don't need your respect. I don't need you to accept me. I don't need you to sit over here and see me as a woman. I don't care if you see me as a woman. I don't care if you don't like me. You can get kicked to the curb. I don't need you. I don't need your respect. I don't ever want anybody else's validation. You don't need people's validation. And a lot of trans women want validation from others. And a lot of trans women are walking around here with beards, calling themselves this and that. You need to shave that beard. Back in the day, if you were to sit over here and go out in a beard looking like Saucy Santana, looking like a butch queen, girl, you gonna get made fun of. What is going on with you? Why do you have a 5 o'clock mustache and a 5 o'clock beard walking outside demanding, respect my pronouns, respect my pronouns. I need y'all to respect my pronouns. I'm not a man. It's okay for you to have a deep voice. It's okay for you to look clocky. It's okay for you to not pass 24/7. It's okay. I don't even pass 24/7. But do you think I'm going to beat myself up over it? Do you think I'm going to sit over here and scream and shout, respect my pronouns, respect my pronouns? It's not that serious. It's never been that serious. You guys need to get a grip. You guys need to sit over here and represent yourself sometimes. This is why I say I really wish we had real representation, because the problem with the trans community is now that everybody's dividing, everybody's going against each other. Why are we fighting with women? Why are we fighting with cis women? Why are we even arguing about this and that? We shouldn't be arguing about this and that. And I understand that some women are very transphobic. I understand this type of stuff, but not every woman is transphobic. Not every gay boy is transphobic. Not all these people are transphobic. Maybe they're coming and they're saying these type of things from the bottom of their heart, and a lot of people keep getting offended about pronouns and stuff like that. What is a Z, zer, bada, bing, girl? Like, what is all these pronouns? Girl, y'all just making stuff up, and it's sad to say that, but y'all are just making stuff up. It's okay to be non-binary. I don't understand why a lot of people dismiss non-binary people in the trans community. That's rude. That's wrong. Like, you might not understand them, but you're not, their life is not for you to understand, okay? It's for you to get educated on. Pockets. And I had to catch my breath because I kind of got heated, because I see it constantly, time and time again, people dismissing non-binary people and acting like, they're they're less than, they're this, they're that. Not every non-binary person is screaming and shouting for respect, doing this, doing that. Stop putting these people in boxes. Really get to know people. This is why I say maybe TikTok need to get banned after all, because some of these people really need help. Some of y'all need to go to a therapist, because why are you screaming and shouting and demanding respect? And why are you sitting over here acting this way, acting that way, getting walked like a dog, sitting over here doing this, doing that? Why are you, when did we stoop this low as trans people? When did we stoop this low? Like, I know a lot of people might drag me, but like, it's serious and somebody needs to talk about it. And I don't care, because TikTok is about to get banned. As long as my video is still monetized, I don't care if you don't support me. I don't care. I don't need your support. I already got my support. I like my beautiful black trans women. I like my beautiful white trans women. I love my beautiful dolls, girl. And if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. I love my community. I don't need anybody else's support. Bada bing, bada boom.
Next caller.
The next thing that I have to say is trans women claiming that they're the same as biological women. This is the main reason why we get side-eye, and this needs to stop. I want a lot of people to understand that you cannot just sit over here and erase what a biological woman is. You just can't. You can't. And I don't know where this came from. I really don't know where this came from. I feel like this has been happening for a while. I always say this. Why are you trying to hide who you are? And then it be the one saying this who still have a princess wand down there. You haven't even chopped off your princess wand. You sitting over here saying what a biological woman is.
Do you class yourself as a woman or a trans woman? I class myself as a woman first.
My identity records, my racing license, my medical records all say female, right? And I'm pretty sure I'm made of biological stuff. So I'm a biological female as well.
I mean, I'm somatically female. Somatically female.
I am 100% a biological woman and female.
For all intents and purposes, I am a woman.
Well, I am a woman. That's a fact.
I'm a real woman. I'm going to say it one more time so it really penetrates. I am a real woman.
I am going to spend the next minute screaming, because that is what is going on in here. That is what the trans genocide in this country, in this city, has brought me to.
She just appears to be just a little bit ghetto to me.
This is exactly why we don't get taken seriously as a community. And then to top it all off, people who are saying this type of stuff barely look like they even transition and barely put in effort. And I'm not one to come for anybody's looks, because I look like, I don't look the best. You get what I mean? And then on top of that, when somebody asks you what is a woman, a lot of people freeze up and they really don't know how to answer the question. Me, I wholeheartedly say I know what a trans woman is. You can always say what is a trans woman. I can always give you that on rip. Like I can tell you that in the big part, like not the big little part. I can tell you on the big part what a trans woman is. And I can tell you about my journey as a trans woman. I don't like to get compared to biological women because I don't go through what they go through. They go through a lot and you can't just sit over here and dismiss it. And that's what frustrates me, because when you're dismissing what a biological woman is going through, now they're all side-eyeing you, and now they're looking at you crazy, and now they're thinking that that's how the whole community acts. No, I'm not saying that you're less valid as a trans woman, less valid as a woman. You're still a woman. You're still you're still enough woman. Let me say this. You're still just enough woman, but you're a different form of a woman. You're a trans woman, and you should embrace being a trans woman, because being a trans woman is beautiful. Not everybody is going to agree with your decisions. Not everybody's going to accept you. And then you sitting over here getting on the internet saying that you have periods. Oh my God, hang it up flat screen. What is going on here? You don't get periods. And if you're getting a period, something is going on. If there's red stuff coming out and you still got a princess wand, something's going on. If you're cramping down there, you need to go to the hospital. You need to go to the hospital and call 911 immediately, girl. What's going on? That's not giving what it's supposed to be gave. You're not supposed to be having cramps. And if you are having cramps, something's going on. Maybe you need to go to the bathroom, girl. No tea, no shade. You should embrace that you don't have to go through what these people are going through. I embrace that I don't go through what they go through, and I accept everything about it. I don't need to go through what they go through. I'm just enough woman. I'm just a different form of woman. I'm a trans woman. I love being a trans woman. I love embracing that I'm a trans woman. I love being myself. Why would I want to hide myself? That makes no sense to me. Like, literally. Without further ado, I love you guys. Please take time in your transition and stop sitting over here listening to these crazy trans people. This is the problem with the trans community now, and why we don't get taken seriously in the media. I don't care no more, though. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm gonna represent. I'm gonna walk my own path. I'm a butterfly. Like, what did Rihanna say? Shine bright like a diamond. But yeah, bada bing, bada boom. I'm gonna talk to you guys later, because girl, this video is a little long already, and I gotta go sit over here and go get some groceries or whatever. But bada bing, bada boom. I love y'all. Bye.